Hey guys, welcome to Coffee Talk. We've been off for a week. We had spring break, and I hope you've been able to find just a moment of peace with everything that's going on. We try to take these breaks early in the week to get a chance to connect with you, to hear about what's going on across our industry, but also to share with you about some of the things that are happening in our world as well. So this week, what we're doing is we're taking some time to help you understand a bit more about what it is that we do here at the ACC Fashion Incubator. We offer a variety of different classes and workshops and experiences. And what we want to do is to be able to share with you how you can get involved and what kind of classes may be of interest to you. So if you've got your tea or your coffee, I've actually, I don't know about you guys, but I've made some switches in my own what I'm having for our coffee talk. Had plenty of caffeine already. I had that, but now it's time to switch over to green tea. So I just wanted to get a chance to talk with you about the various ways that you may be wanting to connect with us here at the Fashion Incubator. As always, we've always had some level of our free content, whether it was Fashion Hour, if you followed us on Channel 19, on Spectrum, we had that show that we ran for a couple of seasons. And I believe we'll pick that back up here once, things are a bit more normal. But Fashion Hour is something that we had where we get a chance to talk with some industry professionals. That has switched over to ACCFI Presents in our virtual space. So if you're looking for some, industry insider conversations or even just getting to know some of our internal staff, one of the things that we do is we take a moment within that time to have these conversations to talk about what is happening in our business, how the Fashion Incubator came to be, some minds that were part of the creation of the incubator that you may not be aware of. Also some additional people, like we did a retrospective on some of the people that we spoke with during Black History Month. You may have seen our talk with Jeffrey Banks, who wrote an incredible book on Narelle. If you're not familiar with Narelle, you should definitely get to know who Narelle was. If you know about Tartan, you know about Narelle. So incredible minds that are coming to the table that we try to open up just a window into what it is that we do here in our industry as a whole, but also different ways that you can kind of get inspired from different voices that we speak to, different people we speak to across our industry. So if you are looking for, just kind of I'm just curious about this industry, I'm just curious about what it is that you're doing, that's a really great way to do it. Sometimes here in this session for Coffee Talk, we may talk a little bit about current events, but really this is kind of our gather around the horn time. So this is our time to get a chance to share with you what's important to us, what we're doing with our programs, different ways you may want to get involved. It's a little bit of that kind of thing. But if you're really looking for, additional classes, like you want to say, just get introduced to some concepts, we do something called Workshop Wednesday. And Workshop Wednesday is a really great way for you to get involved with us, in terms of what it is that takes place in our industry. We will walk you through product development or technical design, and just kind of highlight some of those elements. When we first did this, we did these like longer, sessions where you would get a deeper dive in something where you just kind of want to play it back. We found that those sessions were a little too long. And so what we did was we actually condensed them into 15-minute sessions, just quick little bites for you to get a chance to hear about different parts of a technical design process, or different parts of something we call a technical package, or what is a product development process like anyway. So you get a chance to kind of look at these various components, these various pieces throughout the design process. And so that's something where, again, it's free. That's something where you get a chance to just get a little toe dip into what it is that we do in our world. It is by no means comprehensive. There's so much more that we could teach you. I used to do hundreds of tech packs every season, and we would do multiple seasons. It's not just the fashion calendar that you're thinking about, but if you work in juniors, or if you work in fashion for television like QVC, those delivery times are very different than what you see on Vogue or something of that nature. And so the timelines that you're turning around product and the volume that you're creating gives you a much deeper understanding of those things. So we talk about it, and it may sound like a lot more information than maybe what you're used to. However, I assure you, it's just really scratching the surface of what it is that we actually do. So we don't say that to intimidate you. We just say there's so much more to learn, and we'd love to teach you. So the first thing that we want to do is to kind of start off with kind of what the high level content is. It's ACCFI Presents, it's our workshop Wednesdays, and it's our coffee talk as our time to kind of connect and see each other early in the week. Then what we do is we do something with demos. So if you're on our mailing list, join us on fashion.incubator at austincc.edu. We'll get a chance to share that with you again, but it's fashion.incubator at austincc.edu. And if you join us on our mailing list, you'll hear about all of the workshops and masterclasses or demonstrations that we're doing. So we work really closely with Gerber Technology. They are our foundational partner, and we love working with them. We have about $13 million worth of equipment, hardware and software that we use to be able to train up and skill up our local workforce. And so what we do is we try to introduce that product, introduce those software systems, and something that we're starting now as demonstrations. So you'll get a chance to meet our instructional coordinator, Michelle Washington, who will be launching our series on demos for Unique PLM. So that's a system where you learn all about product lifecycle management, and she'll be going live with that starting on March 31st. So that's next week. So we'd love to have you guys join us, because this is going to really help for you to know kind of what the next opportunities are, what kind of classes you may look to take in the future, but it's just going to give you a demo. It'll just give you a little taste of what the system can do and where you might want to apply it in your process. We want to hear back from you. These are really great opportunities for us to get a chance to, provide some content, but then we want to get some content back. We want to know, how do you think you might apply this information? What do you think you might want to learn next? And so these are things that help us to create things that you find valuable, but also we can help you know what else is available in our industry that may speak to those interests and needs. So we'll do that with the demonstrations. We'll start with Unique PLM, and that's kind of, where we kind of get into this very open-ended content, but it really helps you to kind of see how these various software systems work. We'll be doing that with 2D, and so it's really, again, just join on a Zoom call, and, Michelle will kind of guide you through the various components of those systems. And so you'll love to get a chance to see what it can do for you and how it can build your business, or how it can help you work digitally with a variety of businesses really across the globe. And so one of the things that I particularly love, and I'll just say this one thing before we go on to the next course, is one of the things I particularly love about what's possible now that may not have been possible before is the willingness to work digitally. A lot of brands and a lot of companies have typically said, we want you in our physical space in order for you to do what you do. But now, with more digital tools available and more businesses integrating them into how they work, fashion included, that now, the possibility of being able to work from home, you see where we are, and to be able to use that equipment, hardware and software, to be able to communicate with these various brands is now more and more possible and more accepted. I think really the second part is more important than the first. It's been possible for us to work digitally for some time now, but now the way that we're willing to work, and I think, pandemic has accelerated a lot of that. A lot of our willingness to work digitally and remotely is now increased. And so I think employers are seeing a lot of value in being able to get the best talent to the table by facilitating that through a digital integration. So I think that that's something that we think is really important to support. It's always been a part of our ethos in terms of fashion technology. However, now we get a chance to really lean into that, because now I think we have a much larger pool of employers who are seeing the value of that as well. So if you're curious about how to use product lifecycle management software platforms, this is key. I will tell you that knowing how to use product lifecycle management software, hands down, made it much faster and easier for me to get a job when I was starting out as an assistant designer. Not knowing that I had the basis of that was a huge selling point in my resume. And so it's something that we really want to help you learn as well. So come for the demo. We'll get you set up with a full run class. But right now, we're just wanting to make sure that you get a chance to see what it is and how it's applied in our industry. So then the next thing that we're going to do is, so a lot of these classes, like these demonstrations, are really to kind of serve to push you towards some of our workshops and master classes. We do software and, that kind of training, but we also do business development training. I'm going to continue to tell you a little bit more about our software training first, and then I'll come back and tell you a little bit more about our small business development, because we're an incubator. We incubate brands. We help businesses grow. And I'd love to share with you more about what that is. But we do a lot of foundation laying because of where we are in our industry here in Austin and Central Texas and what those resources are. We also see a huge need for this technology focus because of where our industry is going. It's becoming more sustainable, more transparent every single day. And so it's so important for us to be able to think about what is important and how we move forward in promoting fashion technology in the future. So with that said, if you've participated in our demo, it's a free demo, we would encourage you to, and you love it and you see possibility and options and opportunity, we want to encourage you to take the workshop. So, the workshop has, it's a more significant experience. It's a deep dive, and it's something where you'll get a chance to work with an industry professional, industry veteran in that specific area, and they will walk you through 6 to 10 weeks of content on that particular one. Whenever you are finished with that class, you should be able to competently get through that piece of software. We also do 14-week deep dives on some of our AccuMark systems. So you get a chance to really kick the tires and understand how those programs work so that whenever you're finished, you feel competent to go to work with other people, especially if you have that pattern design background. It's going to be really important for you to kind of think about, what your current skill sets are and what you would like to learn. I believe that a lot of people who are coming into some of these, a lot of our most successful students, I'll say this, our most successful students who are taking like the product lifecycle management course, or they've taken our apparel computer systems course, are people who already have kind of a foundation on pattern design. They understand or they have some semblance of a little bit about product development. You learn a lot about product development during product lifecycle management. However, during the 2D course, you'll really want to come in with some knowledge of pattern, because otherwise it'll be really challenging to communicate those skills, those competencies during the course of the course, because you'll be seeing it digitally really for the first time. So what we want you to do is to have some background, even if it's like, you've done some home stitching and you've, cut out patterns at home. You understand what the shapes of a bodice look like, or you understand, how a dart is supposed to fold together. These are things that are going to help you to be more successful in a course like the AccuMark courses on 2D. And then eventually in 2022, we'll be doing the 3D courses. And so it's going to be really important for you to have that strong foundation. A lot of the students who have been doing particularly well have actually either done a pattern making course, are recent graduates of a fashion design program, avid home stitchers, and really understand how to, put garments together. Or maybe even we had one particular student who had been working in the fashion industry for 20 years. She had been pattern making by hand, grading patterns by hand for over 20 years, but had never worked digitally. And so this was a really great opportunity for her to shift her skills into the digital space. And so whether you're highly seasoned, but you're not as connected to the digital world, this may be the place for you. I believe that those have been some of our most successful students, so successful that one of them actually turned around to teach the course. And so we're going to see that you're going to have a lot of opportunity to take what you would typically do as maybe a pattern maker at home, or a pattern maker in a studio, and then send it off to a digitizer or send it off to someone to make them production ready. And you now become that person who can digitize and make them production ready. And so now all of a sudden you've really created a small business around yourself. So that's something that we really promote. We really promote entrepreneurship, whether it's solo entrepreneurship or building a brand where you're building a team. These are all the things that we're hoping we see spin out of these opportunities of instruction that we've created here at the Fashion Incubator. So I've talked to you a bit about, the software. So, whether you're learning unique PLM from Gerber Technology, AccuMark 2D, the AccuMark 3D course, as well as kind of our Gerber cutter. We have a large Z1 cutter for automated cutting. All of these things are going to really propel you forward, and we're teaching all of them at the Fashion Incubator. Right now, we're really focused on virtual classes, and so a lot of that's going to be delivered. We're finding some really unique ways to deliver that, and so we're really excited to be able to open that up to you soon. But we will be starting with product lifecycle management because that is a cloud-based course, and so we're able to provide that to as many students as we need to in order to teach that class. So you'll be seeing that from us first, but we're finding some exciting new opportunities to be able to bring AccuMark 2D and 3D to more people. So as you're wanting to grow and develop your skills, this will now be an opportunity for you to do more in that space. The last but very not least, what I would say is exceptionally important for us is small business development. We do that in a number of ways. We work with brands individually, where we mentor, guide, we do consultations. We also have a designer in residence program where currently we have 6 brands incubated. The new cohort those applications will open up in June 2021 for the fall cohort to begin in September. Let's see. Always turn off your phone when you go live. So what we'll want to do is to kind of share with you, the timeline of the new designer in residence program. But during that, you're going to learn all about how to refine your customer, refining your product development process, refining your offering, meeting with mentors, talking with buyers, learning how to pitch your brand. All of that, it's all going to be a part of that entire experience, your brand direction and kind of refining your delivery. All of these things are a part of that experience. And so it's so important for us to be able to get our hands into our next cohort shortly, but we've got our first cohort here. We also work in a global capacity as well with small business. It's more of an accelerator where we've really taken businesses that are a bit more established and we guide them through a series of courses that help them understand how to translate taxes overseas, delivering your product, understanding the customer journey, and really understanding your new market. There's a lot of different things that we do here at the Fashion Incubator, but the core, everyone is a student to us. We really see, whether you're kind of engaging with our initial offering, or if you're focused on what happens, which is kind of in that free YouTube space, or if you're curious about some of the workshops and masterclasses that we offer, or if you need someone to really hold your hand as you're developing your brand, those are really the 3 different spaces that you'll find us. So YouTube, free content, industry insiders, kind of that first entry to technical design or product development, just a little know-how, what happens there. And then focused on our master classes and workshops where you might get just a little bit more time to really dig into some of these software packages and really understand what it can do for your business, what it can do for your personal brand and your professional development. And then small business. So really looking at how do we help small brands thrive in this very new environment and what kinds of things we can do to help support their development here within the Fashion Incubator. So we're really excited that we get a chance to do these things. It really has always fallen into these 3 main areas, and we're looking forward to continuing to share this with you as we move forward. So we'll provide some additional information. If you have questions, send us an email, fashion.incubator@austincc.edu.